and it's marvelous in His sight.
How long you been on that?
2 years now.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And Pastor Rose is what? That's your church?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Been there for 35 years.
Get out of here. That's your church.
Came
His
from
church.
I came from Mount Moriah with him.
Oh, you came with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm down 15 miles in my truck. I ain't fill up my tank this morning. I said, I'm looking for gas stations on my way here. I found one.
Good. I need somebody to get in there and go in there and fight for the teachers to get a raise like they did for the policemen.
Well, they
I
just
say ain't
had,
nobody.
they just finished up. You're a teacher?
Yeah,
Yeah, they just finished up.
they ain't gave us no raise.
Yeah, they about to give you one.
They are. I'd be glad.
That's part of talk to your union. They're in the process of giving y'all a raise, and some, because they're saying we're gonna give this to you if you support our charter school initiative. And
I work for.
You are now watching the Vision Channel, where Habakkuk 2 and 2 says, write the vision and make it plain, so they that see it can take it and run with it. This is the channel where faith and vision collide to bring forth a manifestation. You're watching the Vision Channel.
I'd like to say good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in with your girl on tonight. I am so excited to be back on tonight. I'm so excited to have this special guest in the room with me on tonight. I will have an exciting show for you on tonight. So I look forward to hearing what my special guest will be discussing on tonight as it relates to Harris County. So I'm so excited to have him in the room tonight. So before we get started, I want to give you the number so that if you have any questions, you can call in and ask him any questions as it relates to what we're getting ready to talk about. The number is 281-888-4042. Again, that number is 281-888-4042. I'm so excited to have Dwight Boykins in the room with me on tonight. He's a former councilman of District D. He did so many things. We're going to talk about it. He's going to share with you the things that he accomplished when he was in District D. I'm so excited to see what he's going to do next. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to him so that he can introduce himself, tell us a little bit about his family. So tonight, tune in, like us, share us, call your friend, call your neighbor, call your coworker. I don't care who you call, but call them up and tell them to listen to what he is saying, that what's going to happen in Harris County. I know it's some good things to come, so I'm going to turn it over to him at this time.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for having me. And I tell you, when I received the opportunity to come and speak on your show, I was just honored. You know, Pastor Kenneth Rose is a good friend of mine, and you know, when he told me, Dwight, he didn't ask me, he told me, you better go be on that show. I said, absolutely, Pastor.
That sounds like it.
No, and we pray for his sister that she could heal completely. I hear she's under the weather right now, but she's going to be fine. God is going to be with her, and we know that. But I want to thank you again for having me, and I thank you, Sandra, for what you're doing in the community and how you're getting information out, whether it's a person in public service or a pastor or a community leader, to make certain that the community is up to speed with what's going on.
It's all about, my show is all about real truth, real solutions, and real answers. Because the times we live in, we need real truth, we need some solutions, and we need some answers, because people are looking for those things and they want to look in the right places. So I try to bring in guests to help them to get to where they need to be, because sometimes, you know, people can veer off and they get information that's not accurate. So with you being with Harris County, you can give
Not with the county.
no, with you having information with Harris County that can help them to get what they need, the help that they need. So I'm so excited that you're here and you're getting ready to share with us some things that maybe, you know, that may take place in Harris County at this time. So I'm curious to know myself, even though I'm in the being, but I still, you know, have a tie to Harris County. I worship in Harris County. My church is in Harris County. So we are an historic church. Mount Vernon is historic.
Absolutely.
So I thank God for that. But before we get into any questions, I just have to ask this question, Dwight. What do you why do you think that there are so many running for the 18th congressional seat? I had to go and look today and I saw the number 17.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was 18. So thank you for correcting it. I mean, and the window's not closed. You never.
That's what I saw.
Well, I could say this. You know, you go back. I'm born and raised in Houston, and I've been in 18th all my life. They've redrawn the lines. They tried to draw us out at one point, but Congresswoman Lee fought to make certain that where I live in the Third Ward area, that we maintain our residents and that we'll be continue to live in the area. Congresswoman Lee did so much for the 18th, and a lot of times, and when I served on city council, we may touch on this as well. A lot of times people see the aftermath of your work and they think it's easy and they think it's something they want to do, and I'm not saying they can or cannot, but Congresswoman Lee made it look simple, but it was a lot of work and a lot of her seniority and experience that got a lot of things done in 18th. So being that she passed and former Mayor Sylvester Turner ran and stayed in for a few months. And so once he transitioned to be with the Lord as well, you know, the windows open and people just felt like they could run for it, which if you're eligible, you can. And but I think the rubber gonna meet the road when it gets to the debates, and you get to see who's qualified to represent, because it's important to me that whoever is that person, they know what's going on. I don't care who your name is, how long you've been running, how many times you run for the seat. Are you qualified to do the work? Because people look up to our congressperson in 18th. As a matter of fact, Congresswoman Lee was representing people outside the 18th
Yes,
with their
sir.
needs.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, it's important to have somebody who can hit the ground running.
Yes, absolutely. Are you backing anyone?
Christian Menifee.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm supporting
Okay.
Christian. I'm not
Okay.
speaking against anyone else.
Right.
But, I had a chance to visit with him, and what he did as a county attorney, Harris County attorney, fighting for the county as a whole, and suing the governor on some issues he won, and the president on some issues that he won on. And he understands the importance of the district. His story is just amazing. About how he grew up and how government services, how government services helped him. His father's in the military, and he told a story the other day about how his family members were in, you know, doing drugs and different things back in the day, and if he wasn't given opportunity by someone putting in his ear that you're better than that, he would not have went to college and then law school and become a husband and a father. And I mean, his story is amazing. But once he became the county attorney, what he did that was very impressive for our county was to make certain doing, like when Congresswoman Lee died, the governor did not want to set the election, if you recall that. Sued for that
Yes.
to make it happen. A few weeks later, it
Yes.
happened. Just so happened it happened
Yes.
right after he filed a lawsuit. And I think in Washington, it's going to take someone who would smart enough to listen and learn, but implement ideas and the needs for the community. And I think he can do it.
Amen. I like that.
Yeah.
So what are the current issues facing the district at this time?
The congressional district?
Current issues.
Well, saving Social Security is number one.
Okay.
Medicaid, Medicare, and this president is running rogue. You just don't know what he's going to cut. And we were talking about this the other day at CDOT Cigar Lounge, my little hangout.
Yeah, I saw that.
That, when he went at the DEI programs, it came across to the African American community that you were targeting us, but the majority of the recipients are white women. And so the question becomes, who is the member of Congress that can get up and make certain that we maintain and gain all the growth that we've developed over the years for our communities? And, whoever wins, I just want to make certain that they stay focused on what's important and not just want to be called the honorable and a member of Congress. Do the work. That's what's important, because the needs are there. One thing I do want to mention, from a personal experience, when I served on Houston City Council, we were in the food desert, my district. And I went and talked to then Mayor Nice Parker about the ideal of getting some money from Washington, if she would allow me to support it, to put a HEB in my community, HEB or Kroger. And I met with both, and HEB agreed, as long as we worked out the land purchase agreement. And we ended up doing that. And they ended up putting the HEB 288 McGregor. But we had $14 million allocated through HUD. And President Trump, if you remember during his first term, he talked about building a wall, and Mexico was going to pay for it.
Yes.
They did not pay for it.
Exactly.
And so he was going to grab all the money that was unspent, which included the $14 million we got out of Washington, to put towards the wall. So I called Congresswoman Lee, panicking, stressed out, and she said, let me handle it. And she carried the ball across the finish line for us. And so for me and my community, it's important that we have the right person in there who I think will address the needs of the constituents.
What I like, and I have to bring this to your attention, Dwight, I like council people who gonna get in there and who gonna fight. I know you may not be able to do everything, but I want you to give it a good fight, knowing that you have fought tooth and nail to try to get some things done. Not just be about the talk, but be about the walk and try to get things done for our communities. Because we shouldn't be lacking. You go out there in River Oaks, they have everything they need out there, and they're gonna make sure they have everything they need. So why they can't have it in the Black communities?
Well, I hear you loud and clear, but I tell you, I say this all the time when people tell me they want to run for office. I said, you can't be a politician to me. You have to be a public servant. If you don't want to serve people and you just want the accolades of being elected, get out of here.
That's
people
true.
have needs, and they trust us. They go to work every day like you, a teacher, Sandra. You're expecting the people you elect to do the work, as you just mentioned.
Exactly.
And so I tell people all the time, I'm not a politician. I'm a public servant. When I was down in City Hall, I created well, let me back up. When I was campaigning in 2013, I knocked on doors and asked people to vote. And if you ask them to vote and you hand them a card and say, this is what you're going to do on that card, they expect you to do that. That's why they voted for you. So I recall knocking on the senior's door, and her door hinges was coming off, and the door almost came off. And I said, Lord, if I get this job, I'm going to put together a program to help my seniors in my district. And didn't know what I was going to do. But at that time, I got my chief of staff together, and I said, we're going to raise some money, private money, to help seniors with minor home repairs at no cost. I said, that's not a city initiative. We're not asking the city for anything. So we got donors to support it, and we repaired over 607 homes for seniors. Didn't touch their Social Security or anything. It was straight up work, from wheelchair ramps to bathrooms, whatever we could do for $600. And we blessed a lot of seniors. That's not political. That's doing what you think is right for your constituents.
And that's what I like about I saw you doing, and I shared this with Pastor. I say one thing about him. I watch. Believe me, I see everything you post.
Okay.
I pay attention because when I see people, especially with our seniors,
Yes.
helping our seniors from cutting grass
Yeah.
to all that, I say, oh my God, I love this. Because when you get out there and you can help those people, because we know a lot of times they don't have family members, some of them that can help them do different things. And I have to bring up, Dwight, when you helped that senior that was put out where she was staying. Oh my God. Do you know that my heart went out to you and to that lady for God touching your heart to help her get another place to stay? And this was late at night.
10:30.
This was late at night when somebody actually got put out in a wheelchair. I saw
Yes.
that she was.
Yes.
So, oh my God, that was really a blessing to that lady. I don't know her, but I know God was pleased. I do know that.
I want to thank Lori, her neighbor, Lori LeBrie, called me about 10:15 that night and said she was panicking. She said, Dwight, I was walking my dog and I see a lady sitting in the wheelchair. She was Hispanic descent, and she was leaning over and she stopped to check on her. And she was saying that she was in a halfway house, not a halfway house, a border home, and that she was kicked out and told them they had to leave. And because I guess the rent wasn't paid. And so she called me saying, Dwight, I can't let this lady sleep outside. I said, well, send me the address. And so, of course, I had to call my wife. Said, babe, I told you I was coming home, but I got to make another stop. And I called the precinct 7 because I want to have police with me. And Smokey Phillips sent Lieutenant Clopton to meet us over there. And to make a long story short, we worked it out to where the neighbor knew another halfway house as well. I mean, I keep saying halfway house, but border home. And end up finding her a place. No, the landlord let her stay that night. And the next day we end up finding her another place. Yeah. And, and it's hell to be poor. Marvin Zellin.
I used to love it. I love Marvin Zellin.
But I tell people all the time, man, rather your relative live in Houston, and I'm sure your airwaves go all outside.
Yes, yes, they do.
Check
all
on your
over.
mama, your dad,
other
your
countries.
grandparents, and don't let them tell you they're okay. Go and look. Go and take a look.
Yes.
Because, we're around the corner from being a senior where we're going to need
You better believe it.
And so, by the grace of God, we've gotten to where we are. How can you turn your back on people in need, in particular seniors, if you want to be an elected official? You cannot do that. And so I thank Smokey Phillips and his team for coming out, and Lori LeBrie again for bringing it to my attention. But that's one of many, Sandra. I had a situation where I received a call about a senior recently who a backflow was backing up at her home, and we went over there. I took the contractor with us. And again, it's $600, minor repairs. And we found out it's worse than it is with her washer. And so I told, we repaired what we could. And then today I had to go over there again because she's 92 years of age.
My God.
And I told her, I said, Miss Jane Doe, I'm just going to say Jane Doe. I said, we're just going to have to buy you a new washer. And I said, because we already spent the $600. So I can't go back to the board, which are all senior citizens, and ask for money. So we're going to find some money, and my wife and I pitch in to try to buy her a new washer because something with a warranty in case something happens.
Right.
But she has a son and a granddaughter. It make you wonder. And I'm assuming she's receiving a Social Security check.
Yes.
Are they just going over taking her money? Or are they trying to help her?
Correct.
Seniors get to that point where they just want that company. It would give to a child who would use and take advantage of them.
Yes.
But I can't put that in the equation when they have a need. I try to help them, whether it's cutting the yard, fixing a fence, doing some work in the house. As much as God bless us with resources, we're going to continue to give it back.
Yes, and that is so appreciated, especially when they're overlooked, when they have families who just don't care. I done seen it.
Don't understand.
So it's crazy. That's why we always say, if you have a mother or a grandmother, you better take care of them.
You got to.
Because you don't know, keep living. You're going to get old one day.
During the recent hurricane,
Burrow.
Sandra, when all those trees fell. So I want to thank, if it's okay with you, Pastor Marcus D. Cosby at Wheel Avenue, DZ Cofield at Good Hope, Terry Anderson at Lily Grove, and Tim Sloan at the Loop. They all stepped up in the thousands to give money.
What a blessing.
For us to bless these seniors to get these trees up. And we ran out of money. That's how many trees were cut. And the seniors, I mean, they don't fix income, man. I mean,
Right.
what you expect in a tree in their yard or in their
Yes.
car?
Yes.
And so that was a nice deal. And, a couple of them wanted to bake me a cake and cook breakfast. And I
grateful.
said, no, just a cup of coffee and a couple of boiled eggs. I'm happy. And a little toast. And but they wanted to give something back.
Yes.
And that's what make it, for me, really
Yes,
work. Yeah.
yes. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, call in. Dwight will be glad to answer your questions. Call in at 281-888-4042. Again, that number is 281-888-4042. Dwight, are you endorsing? You already said who you're endorsing at this time. What do you see that needs to happen if the person get in? So what do you see that needs to happen when they get in that seat?
Oh, I think it's important that whoever wins,
That's right.
determine the committee, and I would hope something with FEMA. I know the president talking about restructuring it, something dealing with that's
Jesus.
tied to hurricane disasters in our community. They got to do that. They have to be on that committee and ask to, speak with Keem Jeffers, who's the minority leader, hopefully in January become the majority leader, a Speaker of the House, and something dealing with hurricane preparedness and maybe housing, HUD, housing community development,
Yes.
because of the housing shortage we have here, because we have to address homeless, we have to address just housing in the communities. I think that'd be important. You have to build relationships. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, those issues are not political.
Right.
And someone who's going to stand up for Medicaid and Medicare, that's very, very important.
Yes. Because when I hear this president talk about cutting Medicaid, Medicare, that's why they saying kill the bill. At least Elon Musk had enough sense to say kill the bill. He had enough sense to say kill the bill for that.
If he said that,
But-
he has another in and around. I'm not giving him credit on anything for what
But-
he's done in our country, laying off these federal employees.
That's what I said too.
No, I'm not giving him credit.
But he did say kill that bill.
He did.
And he knows some things in there do need. I don't care too much for him. I'm just putting it out there. I don't care who. But because he knows some things, especially Medicaid cuts and different things being cut. No, and it's bad enough with DEI. I'm just thankful that Pastor Jamal Bryant took a stand on the DEI. As far as the black that had their businesses like in Target and Target going back on their word, he came forward. He had 200,000 churches to sign up.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's a big number.
Yes. And guess who was one of them right here in Houston?
Who?
Willa.
Oh, okay.
Willa.
Good.
Yes. And he said it openly at his church. But yes, we did something when it first hit. I think it was back in February. Pastor was passing out for we fasting. We're not gonna shop here these days. You know how he had it. He was like the second one officially took it on. It was another lady who kind of started it, but he took it way out. He took it farther than she did.
Jamal Bryant?
Because he can make some things happen.
Yeah.
So he's not just a talker. He does what he say he gonna do.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him. And he get other churches, they be willing to come on board. And that's what it's all about. We have to stand up for ourselves. When we think about Dr. King, some of the Rosa Parks and some of the rest of them, who paved the way
Absolutely.
for us, our ancestors, you already know.
You're hitting the nail on the head. And I give Pastor Jamal Bryant a lot of credit. And again, Pastor Marcus Cosby over at Wheeler. My church, Windsor Village, Pastor Suzette, she's very, very strong as well. And, but, I just don't understand. I mean, I tell people all the time, it's a cold place in hell for people that hurt seniors.
Yes.
And I tell you that
It is.
because you talking about the cuts going to hurt children,
Yes.
programs for kids after school.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man.
Yes.
You can't do that
Yes.
to create tax cuts for the rich. You can't do that. So I'm excited that Jamal Bryant, Pastor Cosby, and others are stepping up.
So, a lot of blacks pull their business products from Target. They
Didn't know that. Okay.
pulled it from Target.
Okay.
And twice since it's happened, Pastor Bryant had those vendors to come and set up at New Birth twice. He just had last month, and then I think 2 months or a month and a half prior to that, supporting Black businesses. We support all these other businesses. Why are we not supporting Black businesses?
It'd be nice if all the mega churches would have fallen in line with that.
Absolutely.
And not that they won't, but
Right.
because the audience is there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yes, he is. What do you do differently? What would you do differently when you were a city councilor? If you were a city councilor right now, what would you do different?
I would focus more. One of the projects I had in mind that I did not finish was to bring food, a restaurant, quality restaurant in the Sunnyside area. Because when you go down Cullen, all you see are fast food restaurants.
Yes.
And I have an idea. I don't want to announce it now, but to do something in the Sunnyside that would change that, just like I did with HEB. Because the seniors out there and the people in general should not have to. That's where you have diabetes and high blood pressure. They have no quality
Yes.
food.
Yes.
And I want to definitely do that. I also looked at an area in my district called the Museum District, create a taxing authority there that will allow revenue to stay there to help with infrastructure, because everybody goes to the museum.
Yes.
And their cars are banging on the infrastructure, but they're not created different, almost like
Yes.
a TERS, a tax income and reinvestment zone, where money stays in for improvement there. I did one in the Sunnyside area. So Sunnyside, before I became a council member, would get general fund funding. We created a TERS. I asked Mayor Parker for that as well, and she gave it to me. And it started out with $150,000. Now they're up to $8 million, where money stay only in the Sunnyside area. And so want to make certain, and I appointed all the board members that were from Sunnyside. No campaign donors, no friends. These were people who have a vested interest in the Sunnyside. Pastor Reverend Nash, Pastor A.C.
Oh,
Jefferson,
yes.
Rodney Jones Jr. is the chairman, John Guest. So I want to make Zena,
Is it Garrison?
no, Zena, I can't think of her last name offhand, but she's an accountant for the board. But I want to make certain that we created an economic stream where revenues will stay in the Sunnyside area. I would like to expand, put another grocery store on Belford Street between
That would be good.
McCall Road and Martin Luther King.
That would be
Because
really
the people
good.
in that area doesn't have, it's still a
Yes.
food doesn't have anything real close. So there's some projects I would like to finish, and we'll see what happens.
That would be great. When you were on city council, what boundaries did you cover?
Sage, past the Beltway, the Sagemont area. All the
Oh,
way to
really?
45. Yes, ma'am. All the way to 45, where we set the bottoms in 3rd Ward. And then McCall Road to Alameda. Yeah.
You cover some
Yeah,
boundaries.
it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we open up, because it's so large, Sandra, I open up 4 satellite offices, and we put them in the multi-service centers in those areas, the ones that had them, because we wanted to make certain seniors and people in general would not have to come downtown. They can go to the satellite office and get the same services. And I think Shabazz, the current council member, kept one of them open. But that's important, because you don't want people to feel that they can't touch and communicate unless they go downtown.
Right.
And I used to tell my staff all the time, we're here for the people. When we get tired of that, we shut the office.
Yes.
And we need to reach them however we can.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. What are some of your accomplishments? I know you said about 288 the HEB. What are some more of your accomplishments? Because what I saw, it was quite a few of them.
Well, we had the multi-service center moved from Cullen to Reed Road.
That's so
And
nice.
That is a beautiful place.
Oh, yes.
It also has a walking trail in the back
Yes.
for you to exercise. Because it brings health clinic and
Yes.
all of that to the area. It has all the services you need. And so that was a long fight. We worked with the community to get that thing done. Then we brought a brand new fire station off of Cullen, Station 55s. And they're allowing community groups come meet there if they need to.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Civic club groups, yeah. And so we brought that in. Like I said, the HEB on 288, the pipe burns off of Scott Street where
Yes.
I grew up. Just several things. I created a second chance program. where I rented out the Georgia Brown Convention Center. Over 6,000 people came and applied, with the different vendors. We had almost 160, 170 vendors each time we would do it. And I would ask the vendors to make certain they don't come down here if they don't believe in giving second chances.
That's it. That's
even
it.
nonviolent ex-felons.
Yes.
Nonviolent ex-felons had the opportunity. But Sandra, I realized everybody was not going to get a job. After our second year, I also took it up a level and I went and asked some storage yards to donate pickup trucks. And it gave me 12 months to work on the truck. And we ended up giving away 4 trucks, and I personally put in lawn equipment, carpentry equipment, and say, look, you may not get a job with a company, go create your own business. And there's a young man right now I stay in touch with. He started it. He did well with it. And he's doing well with it. And again, my seniors minor home repair program, where Ms. Dorothy Book is the chairman, and we have a board of directors from all parts of the district, and they evaluate every request that comes in, and they go out and take a look, and they sign off, the contractor sign off, and the homeowner on the repair. And again, we repaired over 607 homes, and those are some of the accomplishments.
Now, Dwight, it is when we can believe, because we know everybody not going to get a second chance.
Yes.
But we know that there are some people who are worthy of second chances.
Absolutely.
And just some little minor stuff, might have got into it when they were younger or something, just made a mistake, like we've all made mistakes, just different kind of mistakes. And then some people don't want to give them a second chance. Why? Somebody gave you a second chance, whether it was for a job or it was something else in your lifetime.
I tell people this, Sandra, all the time. I say, you want to be hard, go look in your own family. I guarantee you somebody in your family needs a second chance. Guarantee
Absolutely.
it. I don't care who you are. So quit criticizing people who need them. And it's important. You talk about crime reduction, recidivism. You help by creating opportunities.
Yes.
All right. So you give somebody a second chance. Let's look at it this way. Let's say down to City Hall, Congress, county, wherever you work, you bring in that person in who have skills. I would say would have the skills to qualify for the job. Now they become financially independent, can buy them a home,
Yes.
get on the tax roll, create economic opportunities. They can do so much by giving them that second chance and
Yes.
go back and advocate to others why not to make the mistakes they make. A person who hadn't walked their walk, they can't communicate like
Yes.
myself. We can tell them what we think.
Right.
But when you have somebody, Sandra, who made a mistake, turn their life around, you don't turn your nose on them.
Right,
I
right.
don't believe in that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is so true. I know.
I'm trying to get a check
was.
in the box when I get to heaven. Look,
Hey.
Look, Sandra, I don't want the Lord saying, I gave you this opportunity, you turn your back on
I
the
tell
people.
people we all gonna stand before judgment. We all. Will the Lord be able to say, "Servant, well done"?
That's what I'm hoping. That is
Something
my
to think
goal.
about. People need to really think about that.
Before you start judging others.
Exactly. I remember, I'm going to share this with you real
Okay.
quick before we move on. It was one lady, she used to be a member of our church, and she used me as a reference. She was for this job. And the lady did call me. And when I got through with her, I said, "Do you believe in second chances?" I nailed it. I nailed it like I'm nailing it to the cross. I'm telling you. When I got through with her, that girl came back and told me she got the job. I say, "Well, thank you, Jesus. Nobody but God." And that's what we have to do. We have to help one another. So if we don't, sometimes they just need that little encouragement, that little push.
Yeah.
They need that. And one thing I did do like about the city, even though you have some type of record, a lot of times the city will hire you.
Absolutely.
But I was really upset with the mayor when he forced these people into retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that because my brother-in-law was one of them.
Oh,
Been there for 35 years.
Wow.
Don't have the age, but still, I feel like that's forced retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we got to seeing all these layoffs with the IRS and the government jobs and all that, then next thing you know, here come the city of Houston. Forced into layoff, because that's just what it was. In my book, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I could see if you had the age, but if you don't have retirement age, even though you've been there 35, 40 years, why are you forcing these people to retirement?
Yeah. What department he worked in? I'm just
He
curious.
was a supervisor over on Wayside. over there.
Public
45.
Works?
Yeah.
Public Works, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the third largest budget, I'm trying to think, in the city. What typically happens, Sandra, a lot of people don't know this. The city has what we call a revenue cap, okay? And I'm gonna break it down, simplify it. If you have 1 million residents, which we have more than that in Harris County, and they pay, let's say, $100,000 in taxes, okay? So some years ago when Bill White was the mayor, they came up with a revenue cap. Part of that money stays with the city. Any additional money, I'm sorry, let's say 2 million come in the city. That money doesn't, 100% of that money does not stay in the city's coffers. They cap it and give it back on a rebate, basically, to your taxes, reducing your taxes. But the people here, the services need to happen. So you do that year after year after year. Your budget right now, I think Mayor Whitmire moved it up to $7 million.
People mad.
Yeah, up to $7 million. But you have to pay for services. You can't pay because you don't have the money because of the revenue cap. That damn thing needs to be removed, okay? It needs to be removed, and someone has to stand up to the legislature and get that thing removed. Even if they do it just for public safety, police and fire, which makes up the majority of the budget. But you got to, so people can keep their jobs and people can get the quality of life that we need in this city. But we're strangled by this revenue cap. And not any mayor will tell you that.
Well, it didn't happen under Sylvester. I'm
Yes.
just saying. I'm
No,
just
no, no.
saying.
And I'm not defending.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. I'm just telling you, Sylvester would tell
Right.
you the revenue cap needed to be
Right.
removed. But in terms of forced layoff or volunteer, I don't know who did what and what happened and how it was structured. Yeah. But I hear you loud and clear, especially if you're in that pickle where you're too young to retire, you have the years, and if you're forced to retire, that's not a good thing.
Right. So that's why I'm bringing this up. You know, so somebody who was probably laid off too wasn't ready for retirement, but they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Either that or get terminated.
Wow.
Because that's what they did to the government workers.
Yeah.
So, and especially if they hadn't been there past their probationary period.
Mm-hmm.
But I have some family members who works there, but their job was saved
Yeah.
because they've been there for a while. But
It's an unfortunate situation because when you put a person in the unemployment line, they worked in the government, the chances are they're trying to get on with the county somewhere in the government for their retirement to continue, depending on if it matches up. And those jobs are hard to get.
Yes,
And
they
so
are.
Then the question becomes, what do you do?
yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
So I understand. I feel the pain.
Yes. And I feel bad for them because just 2 years ago, I started to apply for a government job. Asked my cousin, who is now a manager for the IRS, she's an accountant, and told her to look at my resume. I'm just sharing this with you. But the Lord just wouldn't let me do it.
We need you to continue.
He
teaching,
wouldn't let me
Sandra.
do it. And I kept saying, no, I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it, and I knew it was the spirit.
Yeah.
No, you stay where you at because you helping these kids.
There you go.
So I stayed right where I was.
Mm-hmm.
See, God knew best. He knew best.
Where you teach at?
I work for Southwest Public Schools.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On
And
Pine, over on
long-
Pinemont.
How long you
I
been
worked there for 2 years. I worked there from 20 to 2022. I left a year, and then I went back in 2022, 2023.
The kids need you, Sandra.
So, and the kids I work with, they have serious issues.
Oh, okay.
They do. But I know how to handle them. I know how to handle them. So, yes, and I like what I do.
Good.
I do.
That says a lot.
If I can make a difference, that's
We
what
just
I'm
hope
there
that you
for.
guys get a pay raise.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my pay raise. Can you help push that?
The
Can you
government
help?
just signed this voucher bill. This what do you call it? The
For the voucher for the,
yeah, for the
private school?
Well, that's what that or either charter, but hopefully teacher pay raises come with that as well.
Me too. I'm praying. I'm be praying, Lord Jesus. I'm be praying. So, do you think? And I have to ask you this question: do you think we'll ever get another Democrat governor since Ann Richards?
Absolutely.
Whoo, Lord
Look
Jesus.
at the numbers. Beto O'Rourke barely lost. I mean,
He
lost.
did.
And but I think right now the environment we're in, where the Hispanic population see what this administration is doing to them,
Yes.
and they were buying the notion that the Republican Party was for them, and immigration was for people beneath them. But now they realize it's for anybody of Hispanic descent. Almost, it seems that way.
Yes.
And I don't think they can count on that base anymore.
Right.
And what back then Beto O'Rourke was talking about was bringing everybody together with programs, services that would help the least and the last. And so I think a Democrat, will turn the corner next election. At
I
least I hope.
praise. I'm praying. Hey, the Bible say the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So
That's
thank you, Lord God. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to ask a question because I heard something on the news about Judge Hildegard. Now I'm just going. I'm just because I saw it on the news. Is it true
What?
that she's not running again?
I haven't heard it public. There's rumors out there. A lot of people saying she's not. Until she make it clear, I assume she's running for re-election. Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't know how the news people got hold to it before she even said it.
Well, if the news reported that she's not running and she has not put a statement out that she is, it may be some truth to that. But again, until you know concrete, because there's rumors out there, but in politics there are rumors all the time.
All the time. All the time. But I think she's gotten a little better since she had took that leave. Then she had some issues. What was that prosecutor name? That Kim R. Stirring up all this trouble.
Well, full disclosure, I did some contract work with Kim. I was doing my second chance program through DA's office for a couple of years. And yeah, there was no love lost there.
Don't seem to be no love lost with her and the mayor.
Oh, with
He'll
her?
die go.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's no love lost there either.
I get beat up at home enough. I don't need to be in nobody else's fight.
But when you see it out there in the public eye,
Well,
I pay attention to a lot of stuff. When
I would like to see them work closer.
Me too.
With, emergency management issues, because the county and the city has to work together. I've been
Yes.
through many hurricanes, and I've seen where when Ed Emmett was the judge and Anise Parker was mayor, we work together. At that time, we don't care what your party is. We just want to help you.
Right.
That person want to know debris is picked up. They didn't ask, are you a Democrat or Republican? We're trying to help solve a problem. And to have the two at the top working together is important.
Now I'm gonna tell you another problem I did have is when Troy Fenner was let go.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Close friend of mine. Very well qualified. Wonderful man. I just don't know what
It wasn't done right.
Okay.
God ain't never sleep.
Okay.
But I did hear of, I don't know if there's any truth in it. There's gonna be some switching around. I don't know how true it is. That I be reading stuff, I keep up with stuff, I follow stuff. That he may be going to the sheriff office.
He hadn't told me that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it stuff be out there.
Oh, I got you.
I don't know how true it is, but I'm bringing it to you because you may be able to shine some light on it.
Yeah.
So, because people lies be out there too now. And everything is true.
Chief Fenner is more private. He's an introvert on his personal business. So he won't, he wouldn't make those I don't think those kind of public statements unless he knows something's about to happen. But I haven't heard. Yeah.
I would love to see him back working because I'm
He's
gonna
a
tell
wonderful
you,
man.
he
loves
is.
community policing where it needs.
Let me tell you something. When my cousin got killed, Dr. Mouton.
Mouton, the pastor? Wow.
He said, give it 3 days. He did. He was on it. And before we had that press conference, they already knew what was going on. They already knew it.
I did not know it was your relative. So sorry to hear it, Sandra. So sorry.
Thank you.
They just had
But
this
yes.
trial or something the other day.
Yep, last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, last month. Yeah.
How's his family?
I just didn't feel like he got enough time. But
Well,
hey,
how is Mouton's family
they
transition?
one day at a time.
Okay.
One day at a time. They still hurt. It still hurt.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That was a tragic
Yeah.
situation.
It was. That should not have happened. Yep. But God. But thank God for that. And it's so much. I feel like it's so much we can do as people to help our community, because I'm all about it. I know Calvin Miller is one who helps seniors.
Oh, Miller at Turning Point?
Yeah.
Oh, my man.
Yeah, Calvin Miller. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh yes.
Calvin, that turkey drive, Calvin been doing it before you and I became adults.
A long
he's been
time.
doing it for a while, helping community.
He always let you know I'm a product of Sunnyside. He
I never
do.
knew he was from Sunnyside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. He'll tell you I'm a product of Sunnyside. He do so much. He have prayer. He go and help the seniors every year. It's gonna be time coming up before long where he go. They go gather people, because I've went to pray with him when he get a group of people at the park or whatever. We work together also with Calvin real close. He was working with the principal that was at Addicts Middle School, because we was trying to help. I was going to be like a volunteer, go in the evening, like one day, twice a month, to see what we can do to get parents more engaged in the schools with their children. So that's another big issue with those type of schools, getting parents more involved. So, but they end up, after that school year, sending that principal to another school.
That's how it was when we were growing up, Sandra. My mom, I was raised by a single mother until she remarried. Those teachers and the coaches, they knew all they'd do is they would call her up, discipline us there, and we were out of line. But having your parent, and my mother would walk down that hallway, my heart would fall on my chest, like knowing I hadn't done anything, but for my other brothers, but still the fear.
Yes.
And having parents engaged. I say all the time, I'm not trying to criticize people and their kids because I don't have them. But you can send your kid to any private school, wherever you want. If you ain't going to be a parent for that child,
right,
the school or the street, somebody going to raise that child.
Right.
So you don't have to have a lot of money.
Right.
To help instill the values in your kids. Just be a parent and go to that school.
Yes.
And let them know that you're watching.
Yes.
Help them with their homework.
Yes.
Get a tutor if you have to.
Yes.
But let them know. And that kid, there's a young kid I always brag on named Jonathan Howard. Went to Jack Yates High School. 2 parents. Left Jack Yates, did well, went to Morehouse College.
Jesus.
Then Rice University. MBA.
Wow.
The parents are engaged. And he's doing real well right now. So, I've seen it. And his sister, Janelle. So I just know that one parent or 2 parents engaged at the school system will pay off in the long run.
So how can we, like, as these council members, they want to do stuff, but how can we work better with kids? How can they put something in place to help the parents also get more involved in the community with their kids? Because when you look at schools like Addicts and Wortham, some of these not the best schools. It's a lot of stuff that go on in them. Not just those schools on the southwest side, north side, east side, west side. So it's about getting more involved in some of these schools. Not all the schools, but the schools that need it. How can we put more things that engage the kids?
The city of Houston, speaking from city perspective, each district council member gets up to $1 million. We use it as council service funds, and the legal department has to approve your request. So a couple of pastors would ask for funding for after-school programs that they run through the nonprofit end of the church. And you get them approved. And South Union Baptist Church, Rev. Michael Smith, he was one. We funded, when I was on council, funded the program. In Sunnyside, Reverend, was it Nash had one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But when the pastors have an established program set up, a 501c3 separate from the church,
right,
they can apply for after-school funding if they let that district council member know ahead of time before the budget is approved and allocated, what they're asking for and the impact of that program. And, I'll never forget, I had a young lady, Sandra, and I can't recall her name, but she came, one person, young lady, came to City Hall and was talking about Sunnyside Park needed its tennis court resurfaced. She played tennis, and people were looking around like, in Sunnyside? Tennis? This one lady. And she advocated so hard. Not only I allocated money for the resurface of the court. We got, new fence, the whole 9 yards. And she started helping kids learn tennis as well in the Sunnyside area after school. So there are a lot of things you can do. But what happens if when I served, if someone came up to me with a proposal, we vetted it. If it made sense, we tried to fund it. And
So I'm waiting for this new, whoever this council person gonna be, because I would like to start it at our church, because we used to have a daycare till COVID came in, and you know how they go. A lot of daycares and all that closed up. But I would like to start one, because we right in the heart of Sunnyside.
Absolutely.
With the schools all in the area. I really would like to start an after-school program for tutoring for kids.
Well, Pastor Rose had, and
We have a 501c3.
y'all
Yes,
set it up
Lord.
and get everything in place. Let me be clear. If Pastor Rose asked, Pastor Rose get
Okay.
for his programs, because
Okay.
we know he's entrenched in the community,
Right.
and
Well known.
yeah, absolutely. But changing lives for kids.
Yes.
So he's done it for years. So if you guys come up and we'll work through a program together, if I'm fortunate enough to become your council member again, we'll be able to look at that for certain.
Okay.
For certain.
Okay. I'm praying as well, because I'm telling him I'm all about helping kids, and I'm big. I teach ELA. So I'm big on reading. That's why I tell my son, make sure the kids, they out for the summer, baby, make sure they reading some books. They ain't got in the book club. I say, that's what I'm talking about. I tell kids, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
So whatever way I can help kids, I say, hey, put them in tutoring during school. I even encourage the kids where I teach at, when you leave this place, go and do something positive. Try to stay out of trouble. Try to get with some kids that's doing something, not doing the stuff you normal used to doing. So we look for better in our kids, and it takes a village to raise a child. That's what we had when we were growing up. We had the village. But these kids and these young people now, this Gen Z, these kids really need a village. I'm telling you, I've taught from kindergarten on up to middle school, which is what I teach now, secondary. So these kids really need, when I say they really need help, they really need help.
One of the things I want to do, Sandra, I don't know if you're familiar, the Houston Black Firefighters Association.
Yes.
Off of Reed Road.
Yes.
They have a building, a nice sized building, gated in, real nice. And, I said I want to have an opportunity to talk to them about renting out their facility for a community after school program. What it will entail, I don't know.
Right.
But you have a building, air conditioned, heat, kitchen where you can feed them, and it's in the community. And the firefighters, black firefighters in particular, would love to jump into that to help the community and try to figure out, make it fair for them.
Right.
Pay your fair share so they won't be out of resources.
Right.
The place is perfectly located, and it's safe. So that's one of the things I'm gonna definitely look at. Excuse me. Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize that place can be utilized.
I wasn't even aware of that, but
Yeah.
I know exactly where it is.
Absolutely.
Didn't know that
And
they
they're-
had
they're
that building.
They're giving all the time. They're always doing things to give back. But I know if it can be structured,
Yeah.
they would open up to that.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Good news to know.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to put it out there to do more for our community. And I know Pastor Rose is always doing for our community, putting stuff together, calling in, doing food drives. We do the back to school drive. We get volunteers, to give donations. And this year, I haven't talked to him yet. I'm sure he's at the hospital. That's why he hadn't called in yet. I don't know how the situation going with his sister. But this year, I also not just the back to school drive, but I want to do a health fair with it. I want to talk to him about doing a health fair with the food drive where kids can get shots, where you can get blood.
Well,
where
you
can
have
get
state representatives for that, and I think my good friend Senator Boris Miles covers that area as well.
right, because he's
Yeah,
in
you
third
get with
ward.
them. No, well, no, his district, I think,
His
comes out
district.
to Sunnyside and
Okay.
Allen. It may be Representative Alma Allen as well. I'm not certain. But you may want to, I would encourage you to get with them and see
Okay.
if the state's health department can come down
Okay.
and partner with the city of Houston's health department.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
Councilmember Shabazz. And so when you do that, you will be more effective than you think. And then get with the black firefighters, use their facility.
Okay.
If you can. I mean, talk to them about it because it's big. Or do it at Sunnyside Multi-Service Center.
Okay.
You know, but I'm saying, I'm not saying don't use the church. I'm just telling you, you can move it around if you need to.
Gotcha.
If you start on it early.
Okay. 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 I'm going to jump on that. It has been a pleasure to sit here and talk to Dwight Boykins. I have truly enjoyed our time that we spent together sharing the things that we can help with in the community. You also can help with things in the community. Is it a number they can call? Sometimes people can call if they want to help out with things that goes on in the community. Volunteers, I know they always looking for volunteers to help out with things in the community.
The best number you can call to volunteer is 713-203-2835. Again, 713-203-2835. That's my personal cell number.
So you heard Dwight. Call his cell phone number.
Text me.
Text him. You don't have to call. Text him. Do like the young people. They don't believe in talking. Text. They believe in text. So you can text him. I know sometimes it get late. I prefer people to text me after a certain hour because I go to bed kind of early. So I need my rest. But
if they're a senior, they can call.
But if it's a senior, but text, I know a lot of times people may not be able to get to the phone, but they'll see that text because if you pick up that phone, you're going to see that text right there before you even make a call. So texting would be the easiest way. I know some people do emails too, but texting is good for you to reach out to Dwight to help volunteer your time, your service, your donations to the community. He's involved in a lot in the Sunnyside community, always helping our seniors. And you all know we have seniors in our family. They need help too, but we're always there to do whatever we can to lend a hand. So I thank God for you tuning in with us on tonight. I have an exciting show for you on next week. So thank you for tuning in with your girl. Like us, share us. So have a good night.